This week on The Scene, Tommy Romanis and Blue Cabaret. All right.
He sits down, she starts to cry. He doesn't know what to do, so he just sits by. Puts his hand on her shoulder, says it's all okay. She takes it off, gets up and walks away. She slams the door. Another memory, I guess that's just the way that it was always meant to be. He sits back, starts to recollect all the things he can't forget. But it's a matter of fact, somewhere along the line he must have slipped off track. She can never take it back. Just two lovers caught in the act. She takes a ride, she takes another drink. She doesn't know what to do, man, she doesn't even think. She just wants to see him one more time. She takes a turn, but she takes it a little too wide. She's falling down. She doesn't recognize that it's her life that's flashing between her pretty blue eyes. She just wants to see him once again. Yeah, she closes her eyes. She doesn't try to pretend that it's a matter of fact.
Tommy Romanis has been hooked on songwriting ever since he picked up a guitar at the age of 17, and credits his father with teaching him most of what he knows about music. Another of his inspirations is Bruce Springsteen, whose influence you can hear in Romanis' blend of country and rock.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was always in and out of, back in Montreal, he was always in and out of bars, playing the circuits and all that kind of stuff. And he brought me into the recording studios where he was recording and stuff like that, and that's where I got the taste for it. I never had lessons before. I learned a G chord from an AC/DC video, and then I just kind of taught myself from there. So yeah, and then I kept learning more, slowly. Never had a lesson though. I would like to have lessons still, because there's always something you can learn. So once I learned how to play guitar and sing at the same time, then I started singing more. And recently, I was recording up at Big Audio Productions in town, and the audio engineer there, Bobby Gablehouse, gave me like tips on how to sing better. So I just follow the scales and stuff like that up the guitar, and my voice goes with it, and the goo goo goos and ga ga ga's and stuff like that. You know, it's good. It's good. It's good. But that's how that started. I learned like that, and I still got a long ways to go with that. Springsteen is my biggest influence, I think. Springsteen, Bob Dylan, a lot of that, they're just my favorite because of the stories that they tell. It's very folk kind of music like that. And then you hear the stories and you can relate to them, and I really like that. And I think it's lost in the world today, stories like that. I love old rock and roll bands like Grand Funk Railroad and CCR and stuff like that. But yeah, I think those are the main ones, I think. Including my dad. He's probably the main influence there. I like writing songs and writing stories, and I write what I know, so hopefully it reaches, if it could reach one person. I always listen to the radio, and I hear one song on the radio, and it sounds like exactly what I'm thinking at that specific moment, and it's like the stars aligned and all this kind of stuff. And if one of my songs can do that to just one person, I think I made it, just because it shows relatability, and those are the kind of stories I want to tell. When you hear my songs and they're fully composed, because I compose every part myself, Of course, the other musicians play it and they give their 2 cents, and it's way better than what I could say, but but I try to compose each part myself, and I think that's where the fancy stuff comes into play, because when I'm telling the story, if I'm playing acoustically, I don't want me doing super fancy things on the guitar, and it takes away from it, right? Whereas opposed to if I have this orchestra of instruments and I can place them all in the specific places and they have their parts and they know, and it becomes this living thing, you know what I mean? I think that's where I like to get fancy, because it just brings the whole song together and you can appreciate all the parts. It's like when that huge buildup comes and then the verse comes right back in and it just hits you so hard and it hits you in the heart and your blood starts rushing, your face gets red. It's just, I think that's where the fancy stuff comes into play, but it's hard to find that medium between too fancy and getting your story across, is what I'm finding right now. But yeah, I'm more about the story.
Well, he used to dream about fortune and fame, grab his girl by her a diamond ring, smiles flowing just like champagne, pick her up and take her far away. But he's coming from the back streets where he bargains for his life, making a deal with the devil, no angels inside. And he says, if I'm going all the way. No tears, no words left to say. You won't see me around here another day. Just tell my lover I'll be okay. If I'm going all the way. He's leaving here, he ain't never coming back. His mind's on a one-way track. All the while he's got his girl on his arm. She's his lucky charm. If I'm going all the way. You won't see me around here another day. Just tell my lover I'll be okay. 'Cause if I'm going all the way. Well, come on, lover, let's make our break. He says the worst thing that could ever happen is dying 5 miles from where I was born. But he can still hear that horn calling him back home. If I'm going all the way. You won't see me around here another day. 'Cause if I'm going all the way. Still my lover, I'll be okay. 'Cause if I'm going all the way. 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 If I'm going I'm going all the way. If I'm gone, I'm going all the way. If I'm gone, I'm going all the way. If I'm gone, I'm going all the way.
I'm not opposed to the 3-man band kind of deal. I always liked it. But I love piano and organ and violin and fiddle and all those things, harmonicas, and I want to bring them all in, but there's a point of overproduction that I've learned recently, and you have to be careful about that. But I would like to incorporate as much as I can and have a diversity of songs, because I also want to pursue a writing career. Most of the stuff I write, it's just not my style. Like my voice, the way I sing or the way I play, it's just I can't come across that way. But it's like perfect for somebody else, perfect for somebody else. So if I can get it to them and they like it, then they can run with it and make it their own, you know? Because you can write 10 songs and maybe 2 of them are perfect for you. And the rest you have to work on and change and all this stuff. So you don't want to change too much. You could just give it to somebody whose style fits it, you know? You got to find the right soul behind it. It's a great opportunity, and the Lynn Taylor Donovan and Gord Bridgewater from Pacific Records, they came down and met me here, and we signed all the papers together, and it was really cool. They were super nice, super friendly people, and it's just a privilege because they know what they're doing, and I can learn quite a bit from them. So, you know, it's, I don't know, I don't even have words yet. With them backing me, I think sky's the limit right now. I'm gonna work as hard as I possibly can and do as much as I possibly can. Learn as much as I possibly can from them, and I think it's gonna go all the way. I hope so. You know, for me, there's no other way but all the way, so I'm hoping.
Marie's so tired, waiting for a break. Says sometimes this world is too much to take. And then she heads outside towards a corner store. Pulls out her daddy's old shiny 44. Holds up the gun, says, mister, this just ain't your day. But for a minute, can you put yourself in my place? I got a kid at home, and I got bills to pay. Tell me, wouldn't you do the same? Oh, I come from the wrong side of the tracks, and I fear, Lord, I fear, like there's no coming back for me. The cops around the place from the outside. They stick a man in front and station one behind. They tell her come slow and no one will get hurt. She says that's more than I ever deserved. She makes her last stand and throws a gun in the air. Empties the chamber screaming, boy, stay right there. It ain't my fault, it's just what I was born into. It ain't my fault. Tell me, what would you do? Whoa, whoa, she says I come from the wrong side of the tracks, and I fear, Lord, I fear, like there's no coming back for me. In. Judge says that I hope you have fun. Maria says I ain't sorry now for what I done. It ain't my fault, it's just what I was born into. It ain't my fault. Tell me, what would you do? Whoa, whoa, she says I come from the wrong side of the tracks, and I fear, Lord, I fear, like there's no coming back for me. I come from the wrong side of the tracks, and I fear, Lord, I fear, like there's no coming back for me. She says I come from the wrong side of the tracks, and I fear, Lord, I fear, like there's no